Hey everybody, it's Tesselo Presto here. It's been a few days and I was planning on starting my new series on staying healthy when you're traveling. But I had a last minute change of plans, um, pretty much inspired by my eighth grader's promotion to ninth grade. And it it made me think of something else I wanted to share. Um, so it's it's kind of a little something that his mama learned about, gosh, I'd say 4 years ago, that probably made uh, me a better parent at the time, I know, and benefited him, I'm sure. So I wanted to share it with you guys because it's just one of those really important lessons. I remember when I learned it and kind of had this little revelation, just being relieved that I learned something new and was able to change the way I did things in a positive way. So what it is Justin, my one who just promoted from eighth grade, he actually he he won an award tonight. It was just a quick little honor for academics, and it was in English, okay? So the crazy thing about that is that this kid, from the get-go, didn't like anything to do with that sort of thing, okay? So he's very into math and science, and from a very young age, that was his interest. He's an avid reader. He loved to read, but he chooses to read his own, what he likes to read. And um, just once he got in school, even from the very beginning, he did not like holding a pencil. He didn't like to do anything with using his fingers. We had to actually work, the teachers had to work in preschool on his fine motor skills because he didn't do it. The kid never liked to color, much to my chagrin, because I did, and you know, I still do. Never wanted to color, didn't want to do puzzles, which, you know, um, that's kind of different. I wouldn't really say that's like English and language arts, but he just he didn't like to do that. And then as he got a little bit older, language arts and English changed a little bit. He's a pretty good speller, and he enjoyed that, and he still loved reading, but he always said he didn't know what to write. He didn't like anything else about the language arts, and he didn't like to write. And he actually was pretty stubborn about it. I remember as he got in, even in older grades, maybe even like fourth grade, I specifically remember of him just being pretty stubborn and just not doing it, just having an assignment, sitting in the class, and not putting more than a word, if that, on a piece of paper, and just saying couldn't do it, really didn't like to do it. And as his mom, who, you know, was an English major, I like to write, I actually was so frustrated with this kid because to me, writing was so fundamental, and in my mind, he needed to be well-rounded, okay? He should be kind of being good enough at everything. So, you know, yeah, that's great he's good at math, but he should also be good at writing. This was the way I was thinking, and so I pushed, and I remember it being sort of an issue. And so I think it was the summer after fourth grade. It was my first, I think it was my first coach summit. It was in Vegas, and I got to see a speaker. I got to see John Maxwell. and I had never seen him before. I think I had read one of his books, and so he's talking, and here I am. I mean, this said was nothing to do with my kids or my parenting. I'm in this event where I'm, really has to do with coaching, learning to be a better coach. And John Maxwell's talking, and he starts talking about how we focus too much on trying to fix people's weaknesses, and that instead we should all be concerned with really growing and developing our strengths, the things we're good at, because nobody's really good at everything, and it's much better to take your passion and put it into something that you could truly excel at rather than trying to worry about what you're not good at and keep trying to make that better. And my eyes just opened. All I could think about was my kid, my fourth grader, who I was putting a lot of pressure on to try to like writing and to promote the value of it and to be better at it. And so I came home and I stopped. I learned, I listened, and I stopped doing that. Now, John Maxwell wasn't really talking about skills. He's talking about talents, kind of like your natural talent, the things that you're just sort of naturally good at. And he made a point to say, hey, this doesn't mean you don't get to work on skills like time management and organization, like all those basic things that, you pretty much to succeed, you need to try to be good at. You can pick those up. He's talking about those natural talents. So I laid off, and what that did was take a lot of pressure off of Justin. It actually was probably really liberating because my behavior as a parent changed drastically. I didn't really bug him about that anymore. And I remember after that making decisions based on whether it was going to help him pursue what he was passionate about and what he felt his natural strengths were. And one way it manifested itself very likely was even in sports, because I think that I kind of grew up thinking, hey, we should try everything, and I do think that young kids should try a lot of different sports. But as a parent, I just encourage you to realize that after they've tried things, or even if they're younger, if a child has just this passion toward one thing and a talent, that it's okay to not sign them up for everything. Sometimes they don't know that, and sometimes they need our guidance to try new things. So I'm not saying to not do that, but once they start getting older, or when they just know and they have a gift and they have a talent, I just am saying don't feel like they have to be balancing all the plates. My Justin, he was on the honor roll, but he didn't get straight A's. I was a straight A student, so but I just had it in my mind that as long as he's working hard and he's learning and he's following his passions, I didn't put a lot of pressure on him for straight A's, because to me that kind of goes along with that. If he's really just like putting so much effort into a weakness where he's just trying to get that A, maybe that's going to take away from him really, buckling down and putting more work into he had a computer science class that he was great with, that he loved. So I think that had I not listened to this guy 4 years ago and really applied it to my own life, that, I don't know, it could have been a different outcome for him. And so I couldn't help but thinking of it, because so we're at this promotion. He didn't get an award in science. He didn't get an award in math. He didn't get an award in computer science, and they gave those out. He didn't get straight A's, but he got honored in English for his academic achievement. And I just thought, there's probably no way. That wasn't a result of his mother telling him, hey, it's important, you got to do this, by any means. I truly believe it was a result of his mother learning and listening and applying and just really taking that pressure off of him and letting him have the freedom, really have that just ability and choice empowerment to know that he could pursue what he wanted. So anyway, sorry I don't have any tips tonight for staying healthy while you're on vacation. I will do that tomorrow, and that is going to be a series because I'm going to try to keep that one pretty short and give you in little chunks. But I did want to share that before I just kind of forgot about it, and I hope that it helps you in some way. So whether you've got little ones or big ones, or friends, anybody you're mentoring, or just yourself, if you can maybe take a little bit of pressure off yourself to be great at everything, or to kind of fix your weakness, if you can instead just pour more energy into what you're good at and what you're passionate about, you're going to be a lot happier, and you're going to make the people around you happier. And that's it. So hopefully you got something out of this, and I appreciate you listening. And if you think it helped you, maybe give it a share, give it a like, give me some love, give me some hearts, and maybe comment with something. So anyway, have a great night, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.